Hello, my name is Kay Mitchell. I work as a schools liaison officer with Maynooth University in the admissions office, and I've been just asked to come along tonight and join the Launchpad conversation piece in the evening that people are providing for you to pop on and ask questions and get settled in. I'm just going to do a brief overview with the two large areas of study that we have in the university is called arts and science. And there are many of you doing many different types of degrees. Some of them will have an application into the arts as well, whereby you can choosing other subjects. But to start with, going into third level and being there, I suppose many of you are coming out of a class period of time where you were doing a lot of your own study at home in school when you were supposed to be in school. But when we went to lockdown, you got a real taste of working on your own initiative in the home setting. And you're meeting it again now in third level, which is very, very challenging for everybody, and I do understand that. But I would just say to you, be as organised as possible, to have a designated study area if you can to engage with your lecture areas and be organised, because the weeks slip by very, very easily. And you're working in a 26, 28 week year, and before you know who you are, time just moves on. It's already October, so time moves on pretty quickly. Departments themselves are adjusting to this whole new format of learning, so don't worry too much if things are a bit uneven right now. It all will settle into a pattern soon enough. In terms of just keeping an eye on your studies, like it's a little bit different to school where for every hour's lecture you would be expected to punch in maybe 2 to 3 hours reading on top of that as well. That has to be factored into your timetable. And the one thing I would say to all first years coming in, don't miss out on deadlines. Whatever you do, submit your piece to the deadline. Very, very important that you do that, because it can cost you grades if you don't, because they will reduce your grades per day you're late. And if you have a doctor's note or a very valid reason why you need an extension, of course you can discuss that with your year head or your coordinator or with the department or a tutor. Every department will tell you what they need you to do about that. But do, if you can, keep a very steady eye on what deadlines they're talking about and take special note of them and try and meet them at all possible. And the whole thinking behind that is once you've come out of level 5 education, which your leaving certificate is, or if there's anybody listening to this from a QQI level 5, it's the same type of training. A lot of kind of monitoring goes on in those areas of study, whereas in third level it's just different, and you're expected to do a lot of independent learning and take responsibility, meet deadlines, learn how to be a researcher, learn how to work on your own initiative. And even if you were on the campus attending lectures in the normal way, that would still be expected of you, because for employers it's the graduate profile they're very interested in. They're very interested in the fact that they're getting independent learners. That's what the value of the level 8 degree is. The content itself can be job specific in the fact that you have a career path in mind, but all level 8 honours degrees, there's an understanding and a knowing out there in the employment arena that these graduates are skilled, and many of the skills that they have in terms of organisation, research, independent learning, highly motivated, these are the kind of skill sets that transfer into any area of employment. Now, when it comes to the whole jobs market, as I said, some degrees would have a natural progression into many areas, but some of them are not as linear as you imagine them to be. And that's why in all areas of employment, what I'm finding when I talk to employers, and I often have occasion to meet parents who are employers themselves, and they chat to me about this in their companies and the areas they work, they'll have graduates from many disciplines. Like I've met one gentleman only this spring who runs a big accountancy firm, and in that, of course, he has accountancy graduates, but he also has law graduates and he has IT graduates. He's an engineer in there, and he also has somebody who had a degree in maths and physics. So they're looking for people with many perspectives, but what they all have in common is something to offer the company. They have something in terms of their skill sets, their personality type, how well the interview went, as well. So there are many facets to that world of employment, but a really good starting point is to have a really good quality degree. Marks of between 60 to 70% in your final year is really highly recommended, because it's very much so demonstrates your ability to work on your own initiative and pull out those grades. For those of you who think those grades are quite low, do remember 70% is a first class honour in the university. So be organised. The deadline's very important. If you're unsure, always ask. Don't assume and don't take advice from each other, yes, but if something doesn't sound quite right or you're not quite sure, please go back to the source. the Programme Advisory Officer are excellent. You have excellent people in the Academic Advisory Office. You can contact us while we're not physically on campus at the moment. We can't have drop-ins because of our current health situation, but you can ask us questions on our web chat live. You can come in on email. You can call us in. All our phones are all open. So, you know, do stay in touch. And you, of course, you have the excellent support system there in Map Lodge as well with the Access Office. Looking here at the timetable groups across arts, then you have a whole range of subjects to choose for them. And some of them are available as doubles, like anthropology or law, or some of the business courses are. For any of you who are taking beginners languages, do remember that they will have to be taken as a 30 credit option. So, and that, for example, French there sits in group 6, and there's a lot of subjects there in group 6. So if you want to take double business, for example, the second part of double business, the 30 credit option will sit in group 6, as you can see there down at the bottom. So just be aware of that. Or if you wanted to take double geography, then any of the subjects there in group 6 will clash with that as well, because that's what the second half of the geography actually sits. Areas of interest for a lot of students would be things like the transfer options from law. Like if you take a 30 credit option in law in year 1 as a double, and you take with your 2 other subjects, and remember critical skills works across as a subject as well, well then at the end of year 1, as long as you've 40% across the board and you've passed your exams, you can then transfer into one of our law programs, either law with one of your art subjects, or you can go into the pure law degree, the LLB, the 4-year LLB, and you'll be joining all those law programs in year 2, which means you would graduate with a law degree. The same will be true if business. If you want to transfer into the single honours program in either Business International, Marketing or Management after year 1, then you must take it as a 30 credit option. But again, the second part of that will sit in group 6, just to be aware of that. So that kind of leaving you with a facility to change your qualification after year 1 if you wish to do that. There's pathways into software engineering with computer science as well if you take it with math studies. And there's also, you can take beginners Spanish there, beginners French. You can also take beginners German if you wish to do that, or you can take the 15 credit option. There's an advanced level, there's also an intermediate level for people who are kind of falling in between the 2 groups there. So there's a whole range of subjects. In the last number of years there, we've introduced media and cultural studies, which is a very, it's a very interesting subject, very insightful into our society and our ability to communicate and what all that means and how it can be used in various formats. You also have the subject there called psychological studies. Now, this one doesn't allow you to transfer into psychology as such, but after 3 years of studying psychological studies with another subject, there is a master conversion program you can take after your degree. If you have 60% in your psychological studies modules, you can apply for that to get the full accredited qualification. So there's 36 subjects there to choose from. You have 4 weeks to do that, so there's still time to decide and make up your mind. And if you want, a department can actually open up a subject for you. If you want to just log in and say it in Moodle and be able to follow the subject, and if you eventually do register for that, then you have to choose to drop another subject if you were taking more than 4. So it's a minimum of 2 to a maximum of 4 subjects from those groups. That's actually how it actually works. You can choose either a double major, where you can take 2 subjects equally weighted, a single major, which would be areas like English or anthropology, history, geography. They can all be taken as a single major. You can major in economics or finance as well, or you can do a major minor, where you're taking 40 credits in one subject and 20 in another. And again, your transfer options there, I didn't mention accountancy before, but there are pathways from accountancy in first year into year 2. There's extra module you take in semester 2 if you're doing that. But the department or ourselves will discuss that with you when it comes to that time as you proceed with your accountancy studies. Those of you who are thinking about teaching then, secondary school teaching is often used as a pathway out of arts. If you take 2 teaching subjects to degree level, you apply for your PME. For those of you who are interested in primary school teaching, you would still need to meet the H4 requirement in Irish, and your maths and English would have to have a 0-4 grade. So just to remember that even though you are a graduate and you're not coming in on straight from the Leaving Cert, you still have to meet the requirements for Irish, English and maths. So just to be aware of that, and that's well laid out there on the website in the Department of Rebel. If you're choosing subjects in science, then you have again 4 weeks to make up your mind. Now, you don't have the same list of subjects to choose from, it's not 36, but there's quite a range of subjects there, and you have an opportunity to change your mind within that first 4 weeks. So this is going to be a mix of lab-based and learning as well, and the departments will be discussing with you how they're going to structure all of that. So again, after first year, a bit like the arts degree, after first year, you take maths in year 1 and then you choose 3 other subjects. And then you go down a subject each year. And each year you drop down a subject. It means there's more time in the timetable to look at other options from other degree programmes. You'll have the special topic options that you'll be allowed to choose depending on your main subject courses. And that will be opened up for you in your timetable. Transfer options, depending on places, then will be into areas like science education. You will contact the transfer section of the admissions office. There's an email, transfers@mu.ie, but all of that is available on the website for you to avail of if you wish to do that after year 1. Computer science and software engineering, again, you can transfer into biological and biomedical sciences. There's a transfer route after year 1 if there's places available. I think 6 students went across this year. And after first year science and biotechnology, again, depending on places, I think there was only 2 available this year. So there's lots of choices in those omnibus degrees. And for many of you who are doing other subjects, many of you doing other degrees rather, that subjects might dip into, especially in the arts, you know, there's lots to think about and lots to avail of. But the key to all of it is to keep in touch, seek advice, you know, have the discussions, have the chats, and we are there to help you in any way we can. So thank you for your time, and I do appreciate you listening to this presentation, and I wish each and every one of you every success in the year ahead.